Hi there. Welcome to this video. I'm an anxiety-ridden, depressed, severely disabled American living in Germany, and I'm about to quite possibly be homeless. Welcome to my channel. If you happen to be one of my returning viewers, subscribers, or even my beloved members, thank you for being here, even though I don't upload regularly. Uploading regularly has just not been an option with where my head has been. Life got stressful. For I think like almost 2 years now, I've been fighting for my rights, fighting with my health insurance company for what they call here in Germany a Pflegegrad, a level that'll get me help with things I need as a disabled person. But also, I'm like fighting against the city now apparently because I want to update my disability identification to give me what they would call here in Germany a Gayzeichen. Because I'm gay, it means going. I have a going disability. I want my Gayzeichen. But no, I've been fighting for that for like over a year, and I'm going to have to go to court to get it. Even though it took me 2 minutes on Google to find a judge in Berlin that had ordered that people that have the type of vertigo, Schockschwindel that I have a right to this on their disability identification card. And while I'm fighting for all of that, I decided to fight for what I think is my right to live in safe and sanitary conditions. But also for the safety and the well-being of anybody that lives in this area. And that's what I want to talk about today, because I'm shocked how everything has gone down. I want to know if this shocks you too. No, like, I seriously want to hear from you Germans in the comments. Because after 20 plus years of living here in Germany, in that time, I think I had 5 apartments. I have never encountered such a shitty situation as the one I find myself in. But also, after all those years of being here and building up so much respect for this so-called German social system and the fact that it offers so much more to help people who need help, much more than where I'm from, America. I feel like all my admiration I had for all this social stuff is going really quickly down the toilet because I've used everything available to me to help me, and I'm getting nowhere. I live in a disgusting house where nothing is maintained, nothing is cleaned, mold, mice, I could go on, and I literally just watched the city of Mönchengladbach assist this out-of-country building owner who just lets shit fall apart attempt to evict me without any interest in the disgusting conditions that human beings are living in and if it's a danger to them. I could be saying this wrong, but I feel like the city is helping a neglectful property owner rather than seeing that people live in safety and hygienic locations. And I'm telling you, I know I'm a foreigner here, but I did my research and I went everywhere that I thought I should go looking for help. I went to the Mietverein, a renters union, to help renters. I made pictures, I made videos. Ultimately, long story short, there's back and forth, lawyers making big paychecks, and eventually I end up in court. According with German procedure, I reduced my rent, held it back to hope that would influence that somebody would make this building hygienic, clean, safe, but rather than see that renters live in clean and safe locations, an eviction process was started. And even though every single person, every official, city workers, but also people sent here in regards to my disability or health issues, everybody that has seen this place that I live in is shocked at the shitty condition that it's in. Regardless, when I found myself in court and I find myself sitting there next to my son, who is an adult male employed, across from a lawyer who is claiming this property is fantastic, and a judge who I seriously wonder if he looked at my videos and pictures. He certainly wasn't here. Well, the judge just wants a compromise. He just wants this to go away. Let's find a compromise. I reduced the rent too much. I owe some. And over and over and over, everybody just says to me I should just move out and get a new place. That's not so simple. But even worse, as I find myself in court, and a judge just wanting a compromise, and a lawyer defending slum-like conditions, I was directly reminded that because I am disabled, unable to work, have no money, I'm poor. If this court procedure goes on, it's going to get costly. And they understand they can't get money out of me. I'm poor. But my son's full-time employed. So we're about to possibly encounter some scary court costs. And it'd be in our interest to just compromise. Just agree to get out, pay some money back. At that point, me as a poor person, my rights are taken away. I feel nothing but guilt. I said to my son, that's his decision. He has to decide, are we compromising right now and agreeing to pay back some money and be out in 4 months? They made it clear, I don't have a say. I'm poor. And so rather than incur more court costs, which none of us can afford, we made an agreement. Part of the agreement, though, was that mold in my apartment from water damage would be cleaned up, but that doesn't seem to be happening. And I really just can't stop wondering if that judge even looked at the video and the pictures. I feel unheard, and I feel like my health and safety has been ignored. And I've been wanting to move out of here for more than a year. Once I realized, after multiple occasions of offering this building owner help, and they just refused to do anything. Once I realized nothing was getting done, and this building is literally rotting from the bottom up, I need to get out of here for my safety and for my sanity. This is not good. The thing is, I'm creeping up on this date where I should be out of here. My son's found a place, because landlords love a white full-time employed man. But a disabled person who's unable to work, not so much. Like, they're literally writing in the ads, they only want people that have employment contracts. I translate that as screw you, handicapped people. Anyway, it shocks me, but even though the city doesn't seem to be interested in their part that they play here in helping to make me homeless, I thought other Germans might be interested to just know how this goes down and what's going down. So today I just want to share with you a few clips from a video that I sent to the courts of Mönchengladbach and remind you that before that it went to a lawyer who thinks this is all normal and okay. And I just want you to tell me if you think this is all right. Maybe you think I'm overreacting. I do that sometimes. And make sure you watch to the end to see how you can help and what I'm doing next. So in the following video, I'm going to do my best to blur out names because, as I stated, I made this video for the court. I didn't feel like they were taking my pictures and my words seriously about the health and safety risks here. So throughout the video, rather than speaking, I gave commentary as to what you're looking at and what it is. So you'll see that on the screen. So how this all started was I demanded repairs on my door. The entry door to my apartment is not safe. It always looked shady from the beginning. Like it had been broken into, but I'm telling you, every door in this house looks like it's been broken into at some point. Which doesn't surprise me with the amount of random people and homeless and so on that have entered this building in the time that I've lived here. But I had offered for a long time to assist this building owner, to maybe she could order a new door on Amazon and have it shipped to me, and we could find a carpenter here. Every spring we get crazy winds, and every time it gets windy, that door is shaking. and it can be opened with 2 fingers. And it can be opened just by pushing it. It doesn't even matter if I lock my damn door. That doesn't make me feel safe at all. Throughout the years, excuses I heard is that it's difficult to do because she doesn't live in the country. But also, old doors are hard to replace, which is an out and out lie. Shortly after I made a written demand that I would like my door to finally be fixed, coincidentally shortly after, water started flowing in the ceiling of a room over here. Again, notified the building owner with pictures of the water flowing in. She didn't even reply. At this point, she decided to get a lawyer. Now there's mold and stinky stains, yellow stains all over the ceiling. So when I went to the Mietverein, the renters union, looking for help on how to get this place to be brought up to normal living standards, for Christ's sakes, they asked me to list everything, and it's a lot. The last time the chimney sweep guy that came by, the guy that controls CO2 levels in the bathroom, he told me I can no longer have the ventilator on and run hot water at the same time because it won't work. And he looked at me and he said, it's always something at this address. And after he said that, the big old pipe leading from the hot water boiler just fell on his head because it's just loosely stuck there. Because that's how we do things in this house. But even in the kitchen, all kinds of electrical problems. Electric doesn't work, stove works, stove doesn't work, dishwasher stops working, leaking. The thing to suck out all of the steam and the smoke when you're cooking, that just stopped working. But also water damage in the kitchen, just being ignored. The thing is, I only rent this apartment. But to leave this apartment, I have to use the steps. I have to go into what the Germans call the Treppenhaus. Let me tell you something, that stairwell is creepy. As I already stated, every door in this building looks like it's been physically broken into. That doesn't give a feeling of security. Every door. But that's not the worst for me. If I can be selfish for a moment, remember, I had a brain tumor and it left me feeling dizzy all the time. I have vertigo. Maybe I look fine, but as soon as I do any kind of movement, my vision's kind of screwed up. I even get like migraine feelings, a little nauseous. I'm also at a danger to tripping and bumping into things. I don't need any extra help falling down steps, but these steps are freaking dangerous. I mean, they're just ridiculous. I just don't understand how a building owner walks up and down these steps and says, this is okay. This is normal. This is where we collect the pieces that fall off the steps. We just collect them and pile them up here as they fall off the steps that we have to use. It's gross here. It's dirty. Nobody cleans. This is by far, in my 20 plus years of living in Germany, the most depressing atmosphere I've ever seen in a German apartment building. I had no clue in Germany in 2024 that renters in Germany are living with this level of neglect being tolerated. Mailboxes don't even shut. Like, the mailboxes are open next to a door that is often open because no one maintains, cleans, gives a little oil. It's all busted here. Multiple bikes stolen, multiple random people entering because, yeah, the front door is just garbage like the rest of the house. I mean, I'm telling you, I wonder if that judge or the lawyer defending this ever even drove past here. I mean, it looks like an invitation for homeless people to break in. It looks abandoned. At the very least, I don't understand why the city or the neighbors aren't concerned about how this is bringing down property value of everything around it. As a poor person myself who will never be able to own my own home, I'm honestly not really concerned with property value. Just kind of want to make that point. This city claims to be trying to improve and go more green. Property value going down won't affect me. This property physically falling down will affect everybody living in the house and the two buildings attached to it. With no regular general maintenance going on, no plans or processes in place, Our garbage ends up piled up. The back of the house is disgusting. I've seen mice and rats there, taken pictures of them. Everybody's aware of it, and I guess the city is just used to it. Nothing we can do to get rid of those rats or mice. But all of that combined with a factory that looks abandoned, shards of glass being left laying all over, just nothing maintained or kept clean. We, the renters living here, have to listen to the complaints and get the hateful looks from the neighbors, not the unashamed building owner who sits in a whole nother country. But I gotta tell you where my biggest concern is. And I also need to make it clear that the court was absolutely not interested in this at all. The worst part of this property, and where you can see really what happens when somebody neglects a property for years, is what's going on in the basement. Now, I need to be clear, the court was not interested because I do not rent a room down there in the basement. However, I also want to be clear that the building owner gave me a key to the basement. Because anytime that there was anything to do with reading, for example, the water counter, it was me that let them in. Pipe broke, it was me that let the workers in. Heater broke, it was me that let the workers in and apologized for the disgusting mess of what was going on down there, and has only gotten severely worse since I've moved in. It's shocking. Because nobody manages this house. Anytime a random city worker needs to come by and go down into that basement, or for whatever reason, it was always me that let them in. Because there is nobody managing this property. Call me crazy, but I think the city should be interested in still water that is left laying full of human fecal matter and urine. But also mold and bacteria build up on top of water, so thick that it's become like gelatinous, possibly alive, hopefully not airborne. I mean, seriously, mold and bacteria building up over more than a year. There's a man living above this. Not to mention the chemicals, which is what recently alerted me to go down there. Last week I was taking my garbage out, and as I'm going out the door, which is next to the basement door, I swear I smell fuel. And I know, I've been told, don't go into the basement, but I also know that nobody is looking after and maintaining this property, and I also know that for more than a year that basement has been flooded. And I also know, because my father was a firefighter and my brother still is a firefighter, and I generally have interest in not dying in a fire or an explosion, that when you smell chemicals you should investigate it. And what my investigation found, I can only describe as an environmental disaster. This property is an environmental disaster waiting to happen. And I worry that it's rotting from the bottom up, which puts the structure of this building at risk. Structure of a building, I repeat, connected to two other buildings. And so because I was concerned about the chemical smell and going down there and actually seeing a rainbow reflection in this water mixed amongst the feces and the bacteria, I contacted the Gesundheitsamt, the health authorities. They were shocked at the filth laying on the ground before we were even into the basement. Then once they saw what was going on down there, they said I was correct in reporting this. I was correct in being fearful. I was correct in being concerned in regards to not just our safety in the house, but also the safety of the people on the street, but also the goddamn environment. So the health authorities said what needs to happen is firemen need to come and look at this and make sure it's not a danger of exploding or catching on fire, because we don't know what these chemicals are all mixed in this flooded basement just floating around for a long time. And then the woman from the health department says to me, but I certainly wouldn't light a cigarette down here. Yeah, no shit. And then she claimed the Umweltamt, the Environmental Protection Agency, is going to have to investigate. And I said, yeah, I kind of hope so. Those chemicals are going into the ground. Like, this is all just going through this house and in and out. Every time it rains, it gets more flooded. Some of it goes back out. It's going back into the system. As I film this right now, the firemen were here. We were in the basement together. They took tests of the air quality, and they claimed that I'm not at a risk of an explosion or a fire. I'm thankful to hear that. But they too said the Environmental Protection Agency should look at this. And at the end, they said what everybody says when they see the building that I'm living in. You should really just move out. I want to move out. This city is seriously lacking affordable social housing. And I'm disabled and seriously lacking funds. Moving is complicated. I'm trying, but I'm not getting much help. So I ask you, what would you do if you were me? Would you have done what I did? You know, get in touch with the renters union, the Mietverein, reduce your rent, ask for repairs, and think everything was going to be okay? Because I'm here to tell you it won't. I've cried out for help at every venue that's possible. I've used all assistance available to me that I'm aware of. The only solutions I'm given are get a lawyer and move. I look at apartments, I look online every day, and they're clearly writing they want people that are only employed applying for those apartments. Or I have 2 cats, and many people are writing they don't want anybody if they have pets. I'm not getting rid of my cats. I will go homeless with cats. So how can you help? I'm not sure. If you're from this area and you personally have a small 1-room, 2-room, small apartment available in the middle of the city where I have easy access to my doctors and shopping, easy access to everything because I have a hard time getting around, which is why I want to be in the middle of this shitty city, then get in touch with me. Don't get in touch with me and tell me, go apply at that office. I have done everything. I have a Wohnungsberechtigungsschein. I've contacted all the social housing companies. They don't even have waiting lists. At the moment, I have 1 apartment I really have my hope on. I'm waiting to hear something, hopefully, any day. And I'll update you all if I get that. But if you're German, and specifically from NRV, did you know that there is a thing called Zwecksentfremdungsverbot? It's kind of like a Leerstandverbot. It's a law aimed at stopping buildings from just being left empty at a time when, for example, we have a lot of homeless on the street. I had read about this online, and I didn't understand through this whole process how, empty apartments everywhere. The person who owns this building has 3 buildings in this town, all with empty places, while there's people sleeping under bridges. And I didn't understand, after I had read about that law, how this was even legal, much less morally right. Come on. And when I contacted the Wohnungsamt, the apartment department for the city, whose only advice to me was to get a lawyer, but they did tell me that I was correct, that is a law that's possible for a mayor to enact. And that city worker also told me that I was correct in this city seriously lacking social housing. And the only other advice they had for me was that I should write an email to the mayor. Because apparently this is a law that the mayor could enact, but the mayor of Mönchengladbach hasn't. I wonder if this guy even goes downtown ever. Since I've moved here, the amount of homeless people that we have on the street has definitely risen. I don't need to see any statistics on that. I'm out in the street. And at the same time, the prices for apartments are just going through the roof. Social housing is little, hard to find, not enough. And what I see is the city putting effort into giving big contracts to big buildings being built that poor people like me can't afford to live in, while investing billions into parks in the area around the train station that, for the common man, all they're really going to do is raise the damn rent. And rent in this whole area has gone up ridiculous. And I mean ridiculous. It's really ridiculous when you look at the condition of some of the properties here in this city, Mönchengladbach. I found it a little funny when I first moved here what a bad reputation this city has. I have friends all over Germany in different parts, and everybody, why are you moving to Mönchengladbach? Yeah, well, after living here, I understand why it has the reputation it has. But I don't understand how a city will back somebody who is neglecting a property, making it a risk of falling apart, maybe catching fire because they don't install smoke detectors. They have mice in there, so diseases because of pipes broken, sewage, diseases could break out. I don't understand how a city says, yes, this is acceptable for human beings to live in. Maybe only poor human beings, because I doubt that judge or that lawyer live in places like this. I don't understand how they say that's acceptable. I don't understand how they claim to have an interest in making this city prettier and better. For who? Prettier and better for who? Because you are very clearly pushing the poor people out of the center of the city. The part of this city that is convenient, for example, for disabled people who don't get around so easy and need to have access to everything quickly. I don't know. I'll never, ever, ever understand politicians or government. But I am a firm believer of, if you want to see a change in the world, then start at your front door. And I'm also a believer of looking out for my neighbor's safety, whether or not they look out for mine too. You know, if you see something, say something. If you can help here and there, do that. And if everybody did that at their own front door, this world would be a much better place. But unfortunately, a part of the problem with where I am and how this got so bad is I'm surrounded by other people that said nothing. They see nothing. Including when I had an aggressive man on my floor screaming and I was yelling for help. The neighbors don't see or hear anything. I do know that multiple neighbors surrounding this building have complained. The city is aware of this property. I don't understand why the city's fine with all this. I mean, it's a business. I've worked in business for years. I ran a shop. I can't imagine if I had a shop where I asked my customers to come in and stay, and I had human beings staying there and stay with me, that the city would allow me to conduct business with mold everywhere and dirt everywhere, bacteria, feces, all kinds of dangers of tripping and falling on your face. Like, the condition of this building, would this be acceptable if there was a daycare being operated out of here? Like where is the limit? Perhaps some people in charge think that this is acceptable living conditions for poor people. What do you think? What are your thoughts on all this? Comment below. I hope to be coming at you soon with an update. Oh God, it would be great if I finally had a nice update to give you, but I make no promises on that. I will let you in on one last little secret. If I don't end up being homeless, and I can find an apartment on my own very soon, I do plan to start being more active here on YouTube. But only once I get through all of this bullshit can we get there, folks. But make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you get updates about that. If I can avoid homelessness and get a new place, I really do hope to be announcing to you some changes here on the channel, good ones, including like a live stream, a regular schedule. I want to do it regularly. It's all going to take some time, but I'll tell you what, I really do appreciate all of your support. I appreciate all of your support just watching this video, allowing me to vent and get this out. It just all seems so unfair, like, and I'm living this. This is really going down. I appreciate you listening and, you know, understand just how quick a person can become homeless. It's a real thing, you know? And I feel like it's worse now than it has been for a long time in mankind. I hope things get better. I hope things are okay wherever you are. And until we meet again, just do me a favor. Take care of yourself.